Hello everyone, today I am going to demonstrate our first project which is based on glowing an LED. Our first chapter is electronics. So this is the first experiment of our project is we are going to glow an LED by using AC and DC power supply. The both type of power supply we are going to use. So the components which we require for this project are over here on the front of your screen. The first thing which we need is a breadboard for the connections, and the second thing we need a connection wires. Third, a power supply which is going to convert the AC power into DC and also drop down the voltage from 220 to 5 volts. Instead of this, we can also use a power supply, DC power supplies, which is a battery we can use for this project. Either we can use this power supply or this, one of this you can choose. The 220 power supply we are using over here, okay, and LEDs, 1K resistor, cutter for cutting purpose, and a multimeter for testing purpose, and a switch with connections. So these are the some components which we require for this project. So let's start now. First, I am going to demonstrate a project on glowing LED by using DC power supply. So first I'm going to use LED. First thing I'm going to explain you that how you will be going to recognize the legs of the LED. How will you get to know that it is a positive terminal or a negative terminal? So the simplest way is to recognize this is the smaller leg is the negative, and the larger leg and the longer leg, which one is the longer one, is the positive one. Okay, now sometimes there's a problem occurs when you get the LED which have both legs equal. Like in this LED, if the both legs are equal, then how you going to recognize? The simplest thing to recognize is this, that in this LED you're going to see that there is a cut inside of LED. So the larger part of the LED is the negative one and the smaller part is the positive one. So here in this one is the positive one and this one is the negative one. Okay, so let's move on. So first we are going to use an LED. We are going to place it on the breadboard. So and we need a power supply. Here we have a power supply. I'm going to use this power supply. This is a 5-volt power supply, and in this what this power supply is going to do is it is going to convert a whole 220 volts into a 5 volts, with also it will convert it into the AC to DC. So basically it is a battery of a 5 volt to me. This is the 5 volt battery. Okay, so after we have added a resistor and a connecting wire from the resistor, I have connected two wires, one from the negative and one from the positive, just with the resistor, another end of the resistor, and connect the both wires on this side of the board. Okay, so now what I am going to do, I am going to add a switch. Over here the one switch is on and off switch. So I have two terminals of the switch at this side and two terminals at this side. So these two terminals I am going to add on the power supply side. Okay, so power supply side I have add one and another one. So I have added both of the wires on the power supply, and the another side the two wires, the two connections of this I'm going to add, and this line of the connection where I have added the connection of this resistor. Okay, so I'm going to add it over here. Now we have to just do one thing, is just on the switch and the LED will start to glow. As you can see, our LED is starting glow, and as you can see, this is a simple model of how we can glow an LED by using DC power supply. Here's one more thing we can do. We can introduce and testing we can do it via and DC supply. So we are going to use an DC DC measurement of the multimeter. So here I have using the DC measurement, and I'm going to use two knobs of the multimeter on the two terminals of the LED, and let's see how much voltage is coming in this LED right now. So let's see how much voltage is coming. As you can see here, this is 1.989. It means it almost 2 volts. 2 volt is coming in our LED, which is sufficient to glow this LED. Okay.